and welcome back here to a new video. And today we're going to talk about roles in Outsystems. So we're going to check the table that Outsystems provides us with the roles that we have in our environment. And also we can check the users and the roles that they have assigned. Okay, the table name is user roles. Okay, so let's start here. So if we go in the tab logic, we have a folder name roles, and we have, for default, we have anonymous. So it's a role for anonymous users, and registered. So users that we have stored in our database in the users table from Outsystems, and we can check if they are registered or not. So these two are default and we cannot change anything regarding this. But if we create a new one, let's say business, you can do it as well. We can see that we can change the description if it is public, and below that we have check business role. So it means that depending on the user ID that we give as an input parameter, we're going to check if that user has this role, in this case business role, and we have an output parameter saying that it's a boolean, yes or true or false. We also have grant business role. So imagine that the user that we want to grant the role or to give the role, we need to use this action. That's his purpose. And revoke business role is the opposite. So we're going to remove the role from a specific user ID. Okay, so let's see in the app how we can manage this. So I'm going to create here business roles. Let's create this screen. As default in Outsystems, the roles that we have in our application, when we create a screen, we have those assigned, except the anonymous, because this can be a security measure, security problem. So per default, we have all roles ticked except the anonymous. Okay, so let's play around with this. I'm going to create 3 buttons here. So the first one will be called check business role, and this business role we can check 2 ways. We can create a data action, or we can create a server action and drag and drop here. So let's create a server action. So we're going to check business role. And why we need to create this? Let me just change this because this is the same name that we have on the in here. That's why check business role. So I give it a different name just to not have the two in here. So why we need to create a server action or a data action? because this runs in the server. Okay, so if I want to check this in the sorry, let me go back to the action. If I want to check this in here, it will not work because this runs in server. Okay, so in order to do this, we're going to use the server action, and we're going to drag and drop the check business role. Per default, the user ID input parameter, his mandatory property is no. Okay, but we're going to add the what we want. So in this case, we're going to use let me just check. Okay, so per default, his value is the user ID. Okay, let me check. Okay, we don't have that saying here in the description. It should be, but we can just let it how we have here. So do not set anything, and the default is the get user ID. Okay, but we're going to give uh, something here, and what we're going to use in this case is the get user ID. So the get user ID is a function from Outsystems that fetches the user ID of the current logged in user in the app. Okay, so in this case we have the check business role for the get user ID. Okay, but before uh, but before this we can check also where this is going to be stored. So we have our users, we have the roles, so all the roles that we have in our environment, in this case this is all I have, and user role. User role is a combination, so it's a many-to-many relationship table. We have the user ID and the role ID. So it means that we can check in this table the user ID. In this case, I'm going to use the 10. It's my user ID. And all roles that he has. Okay, in this case, we have multiple ones. So 7, 8, 14, and so on. Okay, we can check what is the role, what the 14, what role is. So if we click twice in the role, we can check that the 14 is the file upload. So this is just a text test. So, but we want to grant and revoke the business role. That's what we are doing. It's just to show you how things work. Okay. So right now we know the tables that we can check, and we have already the check business role. So we're going to check for the current user if he has the role or not. Okay. So for this case, we have a output parameter. We're going to do exactly the same. We're going to set an output as role is equal to the has role that is coming out here, and we can go back to the check business role and drag and drop the server action, and now we know that it will work. Okay. Also, I want to raise a message. So let's create if the user has role, has business role. If the user has business role, I'm going to send a message saying that user has business role, and we're going to set as success. If not, we're going to say that it's a warning, okay, and say that user does not have business role. Okay, so in here we have our check role action. So let's check the grant role. So let's use a grant role business. Let me just remove this role word because it was repeating. So here we need to check first if the user has the role or not, because we do not grant the role when the user already has the role. It makes no sense. So what we do is to drag and drop the user roles. We set max record 1 because in this case we just need one record. In here I'm gonna set the user ID, and the user ID in this case is the get user ID. Okay, and also we need to filter by the role ID because we need to check if that user has the business role, and we just need to drag and drop the business here. Okay, I think it's done in here. So now we need to check if the user has or not. So we're going to do an if this is empty, so it means that the user does not have the role. So if does not have the role, so let's say no business role, if no business role, we need to grant, need to set get user ID. In this case we can also use this, but I'm going to use the same. And let's send a message. Let's set a message. Here I'm going to set message and saying that user business role granted. If not, so it means that he has already the role. I'm going to say that user already has business role. Okay, so this is for the grant, and right now we're going to create one more button. But here we're going to say grant business role, and in this case we're going to create a new action. We just drag and drop the business role, and we just raise the message saying that is the message that it comes from here, and we're going to use type info, just information type. Now we just need to do one more for the revoke. It's the last one. revoke. Here we're going to use the revoke business role, and here we're going to check also if the user has business role. If it has, so it means if it is empty, it means that it doesn't have the business. So we need to do the opposite. Okay. So no business role. It means that it is already revoked. So we can say that user does not have business role, and if it is revoked, we just say that user business role revoked. Okay. And here we do the same. We drag and drop a new button or copy and paste. Here we just say that it is revoke. Okay. We create a new action. Drag and drop the revoke. And we, oh, sorry. And we use the same as here. But here we need to change to the revoke action. So let's try this on. Now that it's published, let's check our results. Okay, so we have our three buttons here. As we checked before in the user role table, my user did not have the business role set on. So if we click in the check business role, it should raise saying that we do not have that role. Okay, user does not have business role. It makes sense. So now let's grant it. User business role granted. And now let's again check the business role. Okay, so it says that we have, so it is working. And now let's revoke, so let's remove the role. User business role revoked. Again, let's check. We should not have. It works. And if we do again the revoke, just say that we already have that business role, so we don't need to run again. Okay, so I hope you understand everything here. It's simple. One thing I want to show you before ending the video is we can also check if a user has business role with JavaScript. Okay, we can use in the event of the screen on ready and drag and drop a JavaScript here. And do something here in order to check if the user has the role. So let me open here. In Outsystems, we have this documentation showing us how we can check for the current user if it has some specific role. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, come back here in Outsystems, and let's understand what we have here. So this is a parameter that we can set here, and this is a public security action or function that Outsystems has, and we can use it in order to check the role. Okay, And here we set the role that we want to check for the current user. Okay, so in order to make this work, we need to set an output parameter here saying has business role. Here we just need to click twice, remove the equal here, and here we need to get our role name. Our role name is role business. I need to remove this as well. Okay, so this is the result. So we have our output parameter, it will be equal to the function in order to check if the current user has business role. So we're going to use this on onReady. This is a DOM action or function that's it runs every time we render this screen. And now I want also to have a message. So let's say if business role, if it has business role, we're going to say user has business role. Okay, and here we're going to set success. If not, we change as a warning and say that user does not have business role. Okay, so let's test. Okay, let's refresh our page. So right now I have granted, no, I don't have granted the role. So let's grant the role. It's now granted. We can check, yeah. So if I refresh the page, the onReady will be called, and we're going to check if we have, with the JavaScript, our user has business role or not. So let's refresh the page. It says that the user has business role, so it worked. So, but now let's revoke the business code. Let me just check. So it is okay. And let's do it again. User does not have business role, so it worked. Okay. So we can use, in this case, the actions that Outsystems give it to us, but we also can check the business role or any role with JavaScript like this, okay, and see if we have the role or not. Okay, so this is it. Hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video.